Hey everybody, welcome to an all
new episode.
Trenny and C. He's Trenny, I'm C, and today we have an unboxing or an uncorking of...
We love unboxings.
We do.
Very little research required.
We live for them. This is the Jefferson's Reserve, which is, by the way, very old Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, which it says. Very small batch. There's two varies in this description. It's 45.1%. It's very alcohol-y.
Nice, I love that.
So that's good. One thing I will say about the Jefferson's Reserve is when I was selecting this bottle, I could tell that they were hand-filled, and as you and I have always done, we select the one that has the most in it.
Of course, obviously.
You know, there's probably like an extra half dram in this bottle, but I mean, that's totally worth it. Like,
it is 100% worth it.
Just look at the fill level.
When bottles cost as much as, bottles do,
yes,
you got to get as much out of it as you can.
Get a half dram. That's maybe $5.
I'm just noticing Jefferson's, their little quote here, I'm sure we've said it before, but all men are created equal. The same cannot be said about bourbon.
Fair enough.
So they're going with Thomas Jefferson on this one.
They are. Well, I mean, it is Jefferson's. So yeah, the Jefferson's, it's a blended bourbon. The thing that I love about Jefferson's and why I keep going back to it is it has this very unique rye spice to it.
Yeah.
Where it has a kind of a Jolly Rancher apple watermelon thing going on, which I love.
Really overlooked bourbon, I think. Maybe in parts of the States, it's very common. It's just the common one, but around here, it's nice to get our hands on some of these different ones.
You're right. It doesn't get a lot of press when it comes to like awards or accolades, but like to me,
but it's up there.
I love the flavor on this one. It's one of the flavors that I crave.
So let's crack this one open and see if, because this is about the second in line of
I think if you were
status or
you've
whatever.
Got kind of like the regular Jefferson's small batch, and then you have the Jefferson's Reserve, and then you have the Ocean, and then you have the other variants of President's Select and such.
Because when Jefferson selected
he selected all of them, hand selected. Right. Here we go. I'm getting close to the microphone here. Quite a nice handle for pulling, though.
It is. It's a nice cork.
It's like a gear shifter almost. Like,
it's cool.
In like an old...
you'll have to show the people
Austin Healey or something.
Sure.
Oh. There you go.
Yeah, look at the cork. Show the people.
Funky.
It like doubles as a leg for your couch or whatever.
That's some kind of old couch issue. Like an unbalanced couch. You could give us a good pour there. Yeah, there you go. Lovely stuff. I mean, they do indicate that it's very old.
Yeah.
Is that an age statement, would you say?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a statement about the age.
We were kind of talking about it earlier. Like, when you run into these whiskeys that call themselves very rare or very old or whatever, but don't give any specifics, it can be, like... Cato's, the Scottish blended whiskey, is very rare, I think it's called.
You've also got J&B Rare.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing rare about that. It's been around forever, and it's on everyone's shelves, so... Yeah. So, anyway, it is kind of... It's definitely a marketing thing. Like, I think we kind of talked about earlier, too. Like, every descriptive word of how it tastes on here is very, like...
Unmeasurable.
Like it's eloquent.
Yeah.
Or
I believe
gorgeous or whatever.
It's complex.
Complex.
It's not really measurable. It's elegant.
And
it's sophisticated.
That was one of the ones.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's not really telling you anything about what it tastes like. So that's kind of what our job is here on Trenny and C. When you get these, people writing poems for on the descriptions. Let's tell you guys what it actually tastes like.
Well, and I mean, like, for anyone to call it like ridiculously small batch is like not really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
like
it's
widely global, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, So here we go. I mean, the color is...
Well, it doesn't have one of something on the label.
Oh, it
either.
does have batch number 304, bottle number 5,197.
That doesn't sound very small batch.
It's not ridiculously small batch.
Okay.
Like, ridiculously small batch would be like bottle number 7.
Yeah, out of 100.
Yeah.
Okay, so those...
It's got that regular kind of like tangy...
It's a little bit rye-y, but it's
Yeah.
kind of sweeter, I would say.
It's kind of almost like sweet and grainy in a way. Like,
Yeah.
but it has a nice
It's elegant.
tart, fruity, but you're right. It does have that traditional kind of like floral...
Like, there's a nice sweetness to this one so far. I mean, it's just opening up.
So as much as we've said, like, kind of like hacked on it for like the way they've described it,
Yeah.
I love Jefferson's.
For sure.
I gotta
for
say
sure,
that. Like,
yeah.
I really enjoy Jefferson's, and I really enjoy the flavor profile. It's one of the flavor profiles, along with like the Weller lineup, that I really crave, and that, like, from a bourbon perspective, I really enjoy. Even though I maybe don't
For sure.
necessarily enjoy their description.
And that comes from like some of the yeasty flavors, some of those Jolly Rancher rye kind of things. Like this has that
it's a
water. To me,
like
this is that watermelon Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, it's like a candy apple and watermelon thing.
Yeah, this is very Jolly Rancher-ish. I'm as the nose is
so
opening.
Jolly Rancherish. Because it's like sweet and tart and tangy. It's got
It's a tartness to it for sure. The
Yeah.
sour kind of sour apple thing and caramel.
really nice candy flavors to it.
And then on the rye side of things,
And this is at 45. Wait, 45.1%.
0.1. Whoa, okay. There's the boost right there.
But 45% is the sweet spot
Yeah.
for, the alcohol percentage on a bourbon, where you get like maximum flavor and like kind of like mouthfeel without being overpowered at all. Like, if you want to
Totally.
stay in that like smooth, soft realm but get maximum impact, 45, 46 is kind of the place to be.
Exactly. Like I think we can all admit by now that 40% alcohol on these whiskeys for people who are used to it, especially
The enthusiast,
Like,
it's just not enough.
it's just the flavor comes from a little bit heightened alcohol
Yeah,
percentage.
for sure.
It like traps in those flavors a little bit more. Where if it's too watered down, well, it's exactly that.
Absolutely. Okay, let's
Anyway,
get to
nice
the
nose. Let's get onto the flavor.
let's get to the palate here. And it does arrive like somewhat soft, and like the entry is mild for 45%.
And I'm kind of thinking the Jolly Rancher kind of sweet sourness is more on the nose than the palate. I'm finding the palate a little bit more rye influenced, a little bit
Yeah.
more oaky, a little bit more, I don't want to say drying, but it's the finish is quite nice on it. It lingers.
It has a nice sweetness to it, which I find is like the sweetness is on that like 6-7 kind of range,
Yeah.
like out of 10. Like it's got a real nice sweetness without being like offensively sweet.
It's really
It's
really
kind of
good.
like perfectly sweet.
Because I think on the nose, initially, I was expecting it to be in the 7-8 sweetness range on the palate. But it's nice that the rye spice has kind of dialed back the sweetness to be exactly kind of where it should sit. And so it's so far well balanced.
But you're right. There's just the right amount of like on the finish. There's a tingle and a liveliness. Like it's alive. It's there, but it's not like, again, it's not offensive in any kind of way. Like it's present, but it's not overwhelming. It's nice.
And again, 45, well, 0.1, I guess, but that range works super well with this one. Like, you wouldn't want it any less of a percentage than it is.
It's a really nice bourbon. Like, it's a nice sipper.
Yum. It's got a big yum factor.
It's definitely yummy,
Yeah.
if that's what you're getting at. It's very yummy.
You know what? First impressions, again, these unboxings are always just pop the cork. You have an impression in your mind of what it's going to be like, and then you crack into it. Either it surprises you, or it's a dud, or it's amazing, or whatever. I'm very happy with this one. It's one to explore. It's one to get into, get to know it a little bit better. And
one thing is the price. I mean, some of these the Jeffersons are kind of on the higher end range, and I think that anyone that's a rye fan is really gonna enjoy them, and they're gonna find the value. If you're not like a big rye fan, you might I could see how some people could be slightly disappointed with the amount of money that they're paying. If they're not like a bigger rye fan, but us being...
it's not like a typical... It's not like a Jim Beam where it's like super nutty or...
Nutty and like brown sugar
and stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely has a lot more characteristics going on. And like I kind of said, this is just first impression. So as we get into this, we're going to discover more with it. And that's where the price kind of comes in though. Because it is a little bit higher on the level of price. But... if this were a Scotch and you're getting more percentage and you're getting more characteristics that you're not used to, that's what people pay the big bucks for. They want something that
you're checking boxes.
They're not used to, you know.
And I really enjoyed the entire Jeffersons lineup. So I'm a big Jeffersons fan, and I think this one is like it fits the mold. And anybody that's enjoyed Jeffersons before will be happily paid $10 more for this one, because it's definitely worth that. It's just that, you know, even at the entry level, Jefferson's on a little bit on the higher end. Yeah. So anyway, this has been fun. This is a really delicious bourbon, and I'm looking forward to drinking a little bit more of it, and a
lot more.
Yeah, we will see you soon. And if you could please click like, subscribe, leave a comment. What do you think about Jefferson's?
Tell your friends.
Yeah. And we'll see you soon. Cheersies.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Drinking whiskey, describing all the flavors for you and me. Irish, Scotch, bourbon, and rye. If they like a bottle, they'll tell you why.